Hi, Junior Achievement. My name is Heather Douglas, and I oversee digital marketing here at Katahdin Trust Company.
And I'm Matt Nightingale, and CFO at Katahdin Trust Company.
Our objective today is to talk about how external economic factors can affect a company, an industry, and sometimes an entire community. I'm so glad that you could join us today, Matt. Overseeing the finance department and being a member of the executive team, I think this is much within your wheelhouse to talk about. As CFO, how closely do you monitor these economic factors?
Well, thank you, Heather. Very closely, actually. I read a lot of financial and economic news, subscribe to blogs, just try to pick up insight and opinions on business or the banking sector. It's a great way to learn about what's going on in the region or the world and how it impacts business overall. And really, in banking, where we issue loans, take deposits, help people with providing money transfer services to businesses and households, even governments. This really puts banks and bankers right in the middle of all of the economic activity. In Maine, business activities such as in the tourist industry, forestry, fishing, farming, all have impacts on our way of life. So maintaining a good understanding of how these businesses and households are impacted, whether they're doing well, really helps us shape our decisions on how to service customers and be successful.
So there's a lot to consider, really, from what's going on at a global level to what's happening right here in our own backyard.
Oh, yeah.
Are there any external economic factors that you can think of recently that have had an impact on the entire community?
Yes, absolutely. This year, with the impact of COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, is probably one of the biggest examples of how outside influences can affect business or entire way of life. In the spring, when lockdowns happened, nearly immediately, most service businesses had to close and rethink how they service customers or do things or not be open. For instance, you look at different sectors like restaurants, they had to close immediately and either stay closed or go into takeout. Businesses like sporting events, there's a lot of business around sporting events. They all canceled really quickly. Schools and colleges dismissed, went to remote. And then you think of all the businesses and sole proprietors that service these industries, such as food prep or different products and services. They were all impacted immediately. So in the end, there was really a very quick, sharp economic recession that took place. On the flip side, online business did very well. We all attend meetings, and if you think of one thing with meetings, there was a company probably none of us had ever heard of that needed to get ready to service millions of customers all of a sudden, because all families, businesses, schools, they all wanted to have a Zoom meeting. So you can see how sometimes when these economic things change, it's really a boom or bust type cycle, and the 2020 pandemic was that in extreme.
Yeah, I think the pandemic definitely caused this disruption that made businesses think differently and behave differently, and they had to change to stay relevant. I'm sure the bank's strategy looks a little different now than what it did going into 2020. Can you talk about how you led the pivot in that business strategy, considering those economic factors?
Well, Katahdin is a community bank. Our customers are our friends and neighbors. And while the lockdowns took place, the first thing was to make sure employees had a safe place to work, and we quickly shifted to addressing customers' needs. With so many businesses closing and people out of work, we really needed to find a way to help out. And that might be deferring loan payments or just making sure people have access to their cash. The entire banking industry had a unified approach. This pandemic was nobody's fault, and it's something where if we can just help people through it, they should be able to make it okay. Congress quickly passed a relief bill and then asked banks to distribute the funding through loans or guaranteed loans by the government. Again, the whole industry jumped on this and started extending credit immediately. At Katahdin, right in the middle of the pandemic, we were able to help over 600 small businesses and get access to $73 million worth of loans. So that's one way that we were able to shift and help during that. Another example is online banking. For years, we've all invested in technology and products, services for online banking activity. When the pandemic happened, this really took off even more because they couldn't go into their traditional branch. For instance, we saw with our mobile check deposits, when you can make a deposit a check online, that activity jumped 35% and has stayed up ever since.
That's incredible. I really like that, especially Katahdin, the banking industry, but especially Katahdin, helped 600 small businesses who are our neighbors. And I think it really speaks to putting people above profits, especially in a time of need. Given that these were extreme conditions, what would you say drives business strategy under normal economic times?
Yeah, all business decisions need to look at many factors, like the financial factors or the human resources, how decisions affect the community. And then ultimately, after you've assessed everything, you really got to come back to profitability. There's a lot of work and creativity that goes into building customer relationships, because really customers have a choice to go anywhere to bank or do business. So we have to look at a lot of questions. Do we have good, well-trained, caring employees? Do we have products, services that are priced right to the market? Do we have the mobile technology to be able to service everyone and staying advanced in that area? And another thing is, do we give back to the communities? Do our employees give back and serve our communities? Are we a good corporate citizen? So all of those things factor into business decisions and really come back to how you have to look at different products or different ideas and services to make it work and be successful.
Customers do have several options, whether it's banking or any other industry. So when they're choosing Katahdin, they're choosing our staff, our level of service, and our community service efforts. One last question for you, Matt. As several of our audience members are considering what their next steps are after high school, what advice would you have for those that are considering banking as a career choice?
Yeah, well, banking has been a great career. It's so nice to be able to help businesses get started, expand, hire employees, work on processes so that people can finance their first home. There's a lot of opportunity as far as different types of careers in banking, from working with customers directly to working with technology, might be accounting, marketing. With a great attitude and hardworking spirit, there's a lot of opportunities in banking. We try to keep it fun and interesting, so I hope you check it out.
I'll just throw in a plug as well that we were just voted one of Maine's best places to work for the 3rd consecutive year. So amazing company with wonderful people and tons of growth opportunity. So thank you so much for joining us today, Matt. We really appreciate it. As a reminder to our students, we will continue to explore economic factors with your teacher during JA's Titan simulation. We wish you good luck.